Um, this is the final thing that I'm working on at the moment, and it's a bit of legislation called the Package Travel Directive, which came out to kind of protect people when they go to overseas on holidays. So if you kind of went to Benidorm for a week on Thomas Cook, if something went wrong, like Thomas Cook collapsed. Not that Thomas Cook would collapse at all. Then you're protected. You get your money back, and if you fall off a balcony, or a balcony gives way more than you fall off a balcony, you can sue the operator here. You don't have to sue the hotel. So it's kind of a consumer protection thing. And it defines a package as those three things. So 2 or 3 of transport, accommodation, and significant level of tourism by service. So if you're a Thomas Cook, you're flying people out there, staying in a hotel, you're selling a package, therefore you have got to do various things to protect the customer. The problem is that because it's 2 of the 3, if you were a small B&B kind of on the North Norfolk coast, and you have a mate who runs the pub there, and you say, why don't we get together and we can advertise that you stay a weekend in my B&B with 2 free meals at the local pub for 100 quid. Now, if you offered that, you actually become the seller of a package as defined by this, and you get kind of pulled into legislation that was kind of meant to protect people kind of travelling overseas on what we really define as packages. And that presents you with a lot of problems. Because if you sell a package, you must have a payment protection scheme. So you can either be bonded to something like ABTA, or you set up a trust fund. So either way, what it means is that if you said, basically you're not allowed to spend the money of the customer until the customer has actually undertaken the travel, enjoyed the product and service and got home safely. Then it frees up money and you can use it. Because if you're a small business, that really destroys your cash flow. So if you kind of promote an offer, for this period we're going to have this, stay in my hotel, have a meal down the pub, you sell 100 packages of that, that money just has to sit in the trust account. You can't actually pay for anything until those people have finished their trip. So it's a really big disincentive for the small business to do it. The other thing is, if you're the person who sells it, you become legally responsible for everything that goes on with it. So, for example, if I was the B&B owner and I got together with my mate down the pub and we organised our package, someone came along, stayed at my place, I said, here's your voucher, go just show it to walk down the pub. They had their meal, they got food poisoning. I get sued. He doesn't, I do. And that's a real problem. I can then kind of counter-sue my ex-mate down the pub, but I can't do anything about it, and I take the financial hit. And because I take the financial hit, my insurance company, which is happy to insure me for kind of people coming and staying in my place, says, hang on a minute, you need additional insurance to protect you because you're sending them to people who I don't know and I don't insure, therefore your insurance bills go through the roof. I mean, another classic one of this is if you were at kind of a country house hotel and you've got a golf course down the road and you say, what would be a good idea, get people to come to our country house hotel for a golfing weekend and you stay here, we'll give you 4-6 rounds of golf at the golf club. You get hit in the head by a ball at the golf club, you sue the person in the hotel. And that's really something that's a disincentive for businesses to actually get together and work together. And there's a whole heap of information that you've got to provide, which is far, far more than you would ever do as just a small business. But the EU is undertaking a review of the directive. Basically, the directive doesn't work particularly well for dynamic packaging, and they've done a patch on it in the past and said for things like Expedia, if you are kind of selecting the flights, selecting the accommodation car on the same site at the same time, therefore we'll call it a package. Cunning companies like Ryanair have found a way of getting out of this, and what they do is if you go through your Ryanair or your EasyJet site, you will book your trip to Naples, and once you've clicked the button on booking your trip to Naples, they'll say, while you're in Naples, would you like to stay in a hotel?
Mm-hmm.
And then you click through to someone else's website, so you're not doing the sale on their website, you're going over to a partner's website. And that's kind of click-through dynamic packaging, and that is a real problem, because if you're Thomas Cook and you're kind of providing components, the cost implications of doing that compared to Ryanair, who's pretty much doing the same thing, is quite a...
Excuse me, it's only Stefan. It's urgent. Can you come? It's urgent. I'm sorry, but it's just sorry. One second.
So the cost differential between Thomas Cook putting together a product in that way and Ryanair doing it through their methods is kind of got to the stage where the Thomas Cooks of the world are screaming blue murder. And also people, again, don't know if they're protected or not. So you get kind of people, basically bought the same thing in the same place. Some of them get expatriated back to the UK, some of them get left there and told to make their own way home. So we've got an opportunity to change this, and what we're proposing is you take out the significant other tourism product or service. So it works really well for domestic tourism in the UK because in the order of about 90% of people who take holiday in the UK find their own way to the destination. They either drive there or they buy their own tickets for the train. But I think about 87% of people who holiday in the UK actually drive to their destination. So that would automatically free up all these small businesses to be able to kind of get together at a local level and develop packages and sell them and kind of make domestic tourism kind of a lot more competitive with overseas holidays, which are naturally packaged anyway. The other good thing about it, and kind of relating back to what I said previously about the DMOs and the problems that they're going through at the moment, is that if you give the small local businesses an incentive to work together, if you get together, you can develop a package. They suddenly think, here's a really good thing to do, but we need somewhere to coalesce around to meet other people and get these packages, which provides a real good reason for having a DMO. So it would add strength to the DMOs because they would be a broker in this situation and find a way of funding themselves outside government control because government funding isn't increasing. Anyway, so that's my kind of general ramble through kind of the major issues as we see them that are affecting the industry. But I'm really happy to kind of answer any questions on anything tourism-y, if I can help at all.